Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dramasology podcast. I feel like I start all my new episodes with that tagline. And I am just a creature of habits. Like that's what I'm realizing about myself. Every time I start this podcast, because I feel almost like it will be a jinx if I don't start my podcast that way. I really want to try something different, but I am not there yet. So yeah, my intro is gonna stay the same for a very long time. But yeah, hi everyone, welcome to this episode. It's been a long time since I've done one of the watchlist digest, so I thought that would be what I would do in this episode. Basically, my watchlist digest, for those who are new, is where I talk about multiple dramas in one go. And so in this episode, I am covering three dramas, two of which I have done first impression reviews of. And one of which is pretty new, so it's gonna be like brand new first impression review you'll be getting. So all three dramas are currently airing, and so this is me more or less updating you on what I think so far in these dramas. To start off, the first drama I want to talk about is the drama The Judge from Hell. As of the time I was recording, 10 episodes have aired. I have watched all 10. Just to give a quick synopsis about this drama for those who would like one. This drama basically follows Kang Bitna, who is this judge. The interesting thing about her though is that it's not technically her that's, in her body. It's a demon that has taken over her body. The demon is there to make atones for mistakes she's made, and her duty basically is to kill evil people, which is perfect when you think about the fact that Kang Mitna is a judge herself. So she has a roster of terrible people she could choose from. It's a fresh idea for me. I like the idea. It's funny enough, it's gritty enough, it's all these things all at once, all while maintaining like the story of this demon and like the overarching fantasy element that he has, right? So I like that a lot. I think that this drama is pacing itself well. The demon is at this point gaining kind of emotions, or she has gained emotions, and she feels a lot of things now, right? As opposed to when she first started, when she was like very uncaring, was kind of mean and just like I don't know, all these things that were very unfeeling. But now I think with the help of Handown, who is the male lead, she's beginning to feel things, emotions, sympathy, empathy, love, and all these things, right? Which I mean, this is to the detriment of herself because she's a demon, and apparently demons are not supposed to fall in love. And this is something that I assume is going to be like the climax of this, in that she's probably going to have to grapple with that and the consequences of that, right? There's this one character that is another demon there, and she's basically like the demon police, makes sure that like none of them gain real emotions, and if they do, they need to be taken out, right? This demon has already caused problems for her, but thankfully our demon is like a high level one, and so she's able to like deal with things up to this point. But I am worried that like as she gets more in her feelings, it's kind of going to make her weak. That's just something that I guess I am used to seeing in dramas, right? You could have a character be very strong at the beginning, but the minute that they like, start to feel, it's suddenly the worst thing that has ever happened to them, right? And so I'm scared about that. The other thing that I am worried about, and this is something I mentioned in my first review of this drama, is that at the end of the day, hand down and the demon are the ones that are kind of like falling in love with one another. They are the ones that are like growing feelings for one another. It's going to be kind of somehow when Kang Midna, the actual judge, comes back into that body. And I wonder how they're gonna like play that. I have a sense that they're gonna do what K dramas always do, which is that like just like give an excuse for why the actor judge and hand down are like perfect together, but like we all kind of know that like that's actually not real, because I've seen that in a lot of dramas. Oh, my ghostess had this, Mr. Queen had this, and so it's very common. But hopefully they give us something that can kind of like suit my anxiety about that, but I doubt it. I sense it's gonna happen. just because it's their rhetoric. I don't know why, but it's what they do. Again, I'm not particularly like that keen on the fact that she's gained feelings, but she's not as bad as I would have thought she would be, even though she has feelings, right? So it's not too bad, right? All the like stories, all the trials that is happening, they are really good. All the villains are also very interesting. I always feel bad for the victims. Again, I like the way your sister like punishes them. She does it in a way that like makes them go through exactly what they are putting people through, which I like, right? The only one thing I dislike is the fact that she always like gives them a pass. It's very sad. I don't know how like it's possible for someone to commit that much crime, right? All these people committing this much crime and like they get away because they seem remorseful, they paid a fine, like they, have a bright future ahead of them. Like it makes no sense. Like why is that what you're looking at? Why not look at the terrible things they've done and judge based on that? Why is it always like, I don't know, it was very odd to me that like all of our cases and all the people she tried could get away with it, and I'm thinking that like how is that possible? But yeah. One thing that is funny to me is how Andown is always shocked every time she gives a like terrible judgment or a terrible sentence. I'm like, at this point you should know her and you should know that this is what she's gonna do. But yeah, he's always shocked. I don't know why. One thing I am very sad about is that he's lost like the woman that took care of him and everything. That lady is like gone and everything. One thing that really pissed me off, I will say, is the fact that in this whole thing, when that woman was missing, for some reason Andaon and his team thought that is like Kang Bitna they should focus on, and like it's the killer that's on trial that they should have focused on. Like how is that more important than the person that's on your team? How's that more important than like your basically mother figure? Like I could never understand that part. And so when she turns up dead and they're crying, I'm like, why are you guys crying? Like I get that like you guys are off the case and everything, but like you guys are tenacious. When it's something you want to like do and find out, you guys seem to be able to do that. Especially when it's like comes to like Kang Mitna, they are all like on R, right? They all want to know and they are looking for something to, nail out with. But for some reason they couldn't like fathom like trying to subvert the rules to find their team leader. Like I was kind of like really pissed about that, right? Because I felt like they were basically protecting the killer that was on trial over trying to find their team leader, put effort into that part, right? Like it made no sense to me, and like it's one thing I could not wrap my head around. And I think that it's kind of like a weak point in the plot that like it makes no sense character wise. Right, for something like hand down that he would like actually leave his colleagues to do all the investigation and like focus on something else. It made no sense to me, so I really dislike that. And yeah. That's a -1. Minus points, you're deducting points for that. But yeah, other than that, I think it's still really good. There are only 14 episodes in this total, so it's not going to be a long one. I wish it was actually. Like I'm actually like liking it so much that I'm like, actually it should have been maybe 16 episodes. But yeah, that's fine. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this drama at this moment. Check it out if you're not watching that. But we'll move right along. The second drama I'm really liking at this point is the Chinese drama The Rise of Ning. I covered this I think last week or the week before, so you can check my episode First Impressions about this drama. For those who would like a summary, basically The Rise of Ning follows Lo Yining, who is the daughter of the Lo family in like the historical times, right? This is the time where women were supposed to live inside the house and do nothing else. They were wives, mothers, and that was it, right? Lo Yining has gone through a lot of things, from being accused of killing her dad's concubine's child, basically her unborn sibling, to people planning against her all her life. I think the only good thing about it is that Lo Yining comes out of it kind of very smart. She's very determined, very clever, and that's what saves her a lot of times. At the beginning of this drama, she is moving back in with her family after being away for years and years. That's where she meets her third brother, our male lead, Lo Shen Yuan, who is the illegitimate child of their dad. These two bond I think partly because they are both kind of their dad's like leftover kids. They are kids that their dad do not like. And so they, bond over that. They also like recognize each other's cleverness. They are also both good people, and have strong characters, and so they just have this bond. And I will say that honestly, that's the strongest part about this drama. The romance at this point, because I have watched what, like 23, 24 episodes of the 40, I would say isn't there yet. Which is interesting because at this point they still see themselves as siblings, or at least one of them sees sees the other as a sibling. Whereas like the male lead knows that the female lead is not like his sister. So his feelings for her has already changed over this time period, right? But their bond is really, really nice. I like that they are, in this together. They grow to kind of care for each other more than anybody else. And so even though I was a little skeptical about this drama at the beginning, it actually makes sense how the relationship is progressing, that they will end up being where they will be, right, which is married and everything. So that's one thing I will say, that they have each other's backs, and they trust nobody else but the other person. And so I think that this drama is, it's just well done. It's easy to watch. It is good in a way that like all the characters, or all our characters, the characters we care about, Lo Yining and Lo Shenyuan, are smart enough that they never like give you high blood pressure, right? And they are also smart enough that they can outsmart any like villain. That said, the villains to an extent well written. I'll say except maybe the dad. The dad is like fundamentally like I don't understand him. Even now I would say that he's having character development, because he seems to like be gaining feelings or having feelings for his actual legal wife, right? But I would say that like all the other like villains are interesting in that their motive for doing what they do is very fleshed out to an extent, from the mistress that she just really disliked the fact that she was married in as a concubine when she was really supposed to marry in as the main wife, to the soon to be revealed villain, the first madam of the first household, that is doing all that, or did all that she did because she really disliked the fact that her husband liked Lo Yining's mother, right? And so all that is to say that this is actually very entertaining to watch. Everybody is doing a fantastic job. I really like this. There's no dull moments. If you listen to my episode where I talked about the second male lead, Sisha, who is playing Lujashwe, you hear me talk about how much I like him. I will say that my like feelings has changed in this drama, in that like his character in this drama is actually really, really terrible, right? Like it's not even like a pining second male lead. He's just like a villain. Like he's just a terrible person, and he's like aggressive, possessive, and all those things. And all for what? A girl that is not even willing to acknowledge that you exist, right? So his character is kind of a little too much here. I see, obviously I love the actor. Oh my gosh, I think he's amazing. But like his character is actually like deeply problematic. So, I can't like take his side in this drama, right? But yeah, anyways, all to say that this is really, really good. They've still not revealed who Lo Yining's father is, but I get a sense that it's the Duke, mainly because they make the point to mention the fact that the Duke has an adopted daughter, right? Like they had to make that point. And what's the word of that thing in like literal narrative, where like you don't mention a point unless it's going to be important down the line. I don't know what it's called again, like off the top of my head, but that's what it was. And I was like, this is important. This is important, because who else can Lo Yining belong to, right? The only other option is like our uncle, and I don't think so, right? Because again, they make a mention of the fact that the mom, was kidnapped by bandits or something like that, right? And so I think it was something external. So it has to most likely be the Duke. The only thing is I don't know how it could be the Duke, and the Duke would not know that it's like possible for like Lo Yining to be his daughter, right? Like I don't know. But anyways, yeah. That's to just say that I am super, super into this drama, and like I wanted to air everything right now, right? It's like one episode for the next few days. And it's so like, I want everything now. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this drama. I think it's fantastic and gosh, so good. I look forward to new episodes every day. But yeah, I'll stop here. Now, moving on to my third and final drama that I want to talk about. This drama is new. So here I am. I'm kind of giving my first impressions about this drama. This is the drama Let's Free the Curse of Taekwondo. This is a Korean drama that's currently airing. Only about 2 episodes of the 8 have aired, and I've watched both two. I won't go into the cast because I actually don't know anything about them, but I will say first impressions about this drama. I think that it's really good. For those who don't know, it's a BL drama that basically follows the life of Dohei, whose father runs a taekwondo gym in the rural area, right? A boy, Ju-young, comes from Seoul to train at his dad's gym. They are very different in every way, and I guess he is our like in to this world that Dohei like belongs to, right? Because we see a lot of the things from his point of view. Things that I feel like Dohei, our like lead, is kind of just desensitized to. Well, not necessarily desensitized, but kind of just sees as normal to an extent. Jung is the one that kind of shows us that world because we see things kind of through his eyes, right? In a way, what is very like particular about Dohei and the world he lives in with his dad is that his dad is extremely abusive, and it's kind of abusive that is passed off as discipline, right? Because his dad is like a taekwondo coach. He's, I guess, maybe to an extent maybe good at what he does and everything, so he tends to be very violent towards like students, right? He will like beat them badly if they don't like succeed in whatever he's training them in, right? So it's a very like corporal punishment kind of like world, and Ohe really struggles with this thing. He really hates it in like a way that like they make mention of the fact that he dislikes this. Like his whole point is the fact that he can't stand that his dad is like this, right? And so even though he gets beat by his dad once in a while and everything, for Dohei, his like dream is to kind of leave this rural place and like go somewhere else, right? And he makes a point to like tell Ju Young that as well, that like this is not the place to be, that there's nothing my dad is going to teach you that's going to make you better. He's just like a terrible person, right? It's in the midst of this, in this rural world and everything, that the feelings for each other kind of develops between these two, right? These are boys in like a rural town that is like oppressive, patriarchal, violent, brutal and everything, and they are kind of like falling in love. To an extent, I am very, very, very scared for them. Like I'm so worried every time I see them together, because like I'm like, what if they get caught? Right? That's like my biggest fear. Like, what if they get caught? This is something that like, oh my god, the way that is gonna kill him if he ever finds out about this, right? Like, it's gonna be a brutal thing. Regardless of that, in this world, in the midst of everything that's happening, they are kind of like this pureness to it. Like there is this just bright lights to their relationship, maybe because Young is a like naturally very happy person, and that kind of like has influenced Doohee to an extent. But I think their relationship is the sweetest because there is just that element of first love to it, right? Which is kind of very innocent and pure and everything, right? This drama has a lot of symbolism with like religion as well, because Young is Catholic, and I think is parents are even like pastors. That's how bad it is. So this is, you can imagine being being gay is like probably the worst thing that it could possibly be, right? But anyways, Jeong, regardless, is a very cheerful person, even though his parents are kind of cast him out to an extent, because I guess he's a troublemaker maybe, and still he does not care. Like, he is still very happy just to exist, to do things and everything. And I love seeing his character. It's very beautiful and very different from Dohei, that I think he adds like a very like light to Dohei's life, right? The way this drama approaches the subject of figuring out your feelings, being gay, and the feelings that come with that is very interesting. Mainly because there's this character here that is called Hyunwoo. he's a friend of Dohei, or used to be a friend of Dohei, till like something happened. We all assume that it's probably because like Dohei's dad was also harsh on him or something. That's kind of the sense you get from like the bullying that Dohei experiences from Hyuno's friends, right? You think that that's why that like Dohei's dad has punished them in the past, and so they take that out on him, right? But for Hyuno, you actually see that that's kind of not why. For him, it's more of his feelings for Dohei that kind of influences why he does what he does, right? There's that moment where they're playing the game, and they come kind of in close contact, and I guess in that moment, Hyuno recognized like the feeling he had for Dohei was different, and Dohei also like felt that, right? They had like a mutual like they liked each other in that like moment kind of thing, right? And obviously Hyuno is gonna like deny that in his mind like till the day he dies most likely, but it's very interesting to me to see how he reacts to that. And so I am actually kind of keen to see more of his feelings and more of his moments, because there are just moments that even though he's like a terrible person and he's like getting him beat up and all these bad things, there are still moments that like reveals his true feelings, like the moment where like they are beating up like Dohei, and like Dohei is about to fall and he quickly like puts his leg in just to like break his fall so that Dohei doesn't hit his head on the like bare gravel, right? It's this kind of just moments that show how he actually feels. The fact that he can also like hit Dohei even though all his friends are doing it, and is technically seemingly the like ringleader of that. He still can't bring himself to do that and hit him, right? There's also the scene where you realize that he followed him home after the bullying incident, right? And so there are moments like that that like just reveal his real feelings. And from the very beginning I saw it, because the way he like sat in class and like was looking at our main character, the way I was like, yeah, there's something here, and I'm always happy to be proved correctly. But yeah, that is let's free the Curse of Taekwondo. I think it's gonna be a good one. I look forward to new episodes every week. I really like the character of Dohei. He's someone that has like moral conviction about something. He believes strongly that violence is never the answer, to the point where like he doesn't understand how someone can even be that like violent. Like, why would you hit somebody, right? He viscerally like is against it. And I love seeing a character have a strong moral upstanding about some things, right? It's nice, right? And I think Ji Young also also like agrees with me, because that's the moment where he like rushes him to like kiss him, right? And yeah, I really really like this drama. It's very well done. And if you're not watching this, I think you should. Again, I'm very scared of what's gonna happen. I'm so scared, but I have to watch it and I have to find out. So yeah, that's really it in this episode. Those were the three dramas I wanted to talk about, and they are also very good, and I am enjoying all three so much. Well, yeah, that's all I have. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I will see you again next week. Have a lovely one. Bye.